Alright guys, so now that we have this fill layer set up where we're essentially just darkening the leather to another color, we are going to then add on top of this and try to create this little floral pattern that we're seeing on the side of the book. Now this is not really going to be something that we have inside of Painter, so we're probably going to have to find it online, import that as a resource, and then use that in Painter to create that same effect. So what I'm going to do is go to Google, let's do a search for floral pattern. Let's go to images, and you'll see that we kind of get something that's sort of close. These almost feel more like wallpaper. If I scroll down, maybe there's a couple I could use if I cropped out some of the other areas and turned it black and white. I kind of keep going. Eventually, this guy is actually not too bad. That would potentially work. And I could click on this and then do view more and end up getting other related images that would also probably be a pretty good match. It's also really similar to the fleur de lis. And if you're a New Orleans Saints fan, you've probably seen this before, of course, because it's your team logo. But the fleur de lis is pretty similar to what we're seeing on the side of the book. So this means if I found like an image like either of these two right here, I could try hitting view more on this one and maybe get, oh yeah, we're getting way more common results that are a pretty good match. And I don't think we're ever going to find that exact symbol. So getting a complete one-to-one is probably not going to be very feasible in this case. So we're just going to find something that works pretty well. Now I already do have one downloaded. So the main thing here is once you find your texture file, make sure you bring it into your project directory. So I'm putting mine in the book folder in Painter, and I'm calling it a symbol.png. You'll notice how I've inverted it. So the white part is the symbol, not the other way around, because white is what I'm technically painting, as the white is kind of what we're using in the mask to generate where those darker colors appear. So I need to flip it in Photoshop, and I'm also making sure that this image is a square, 256 by 256. That's really important. So let's get out of that. We're going to go down to the shelf. We're going to hit this button on the right called Import Resources. Once we hit it, we have a new window pop up. We'll click Add Resources. Now let's find our file. Okay, there it is. Let's hit open. And once we've done that, you can see it's loading. It needs to know what type of file this is. Is it a black and white alpha, a lookup table, an environment map for the lighting, or is it going to be a color texture? This is really just determining where that texture appears inside of Painter, like what folders are going to go in. This is a black and white map, so we're going to call this alpha. Now, the next option down here at the bottom is just us telling Painter sort of how we want this file saved. Do we want it to be permanently in Painter for every project, in the future? Is it just for this particular book project? Or is it just for today? And, if we pick current session, as soon as we close out of Painter, the next time we open it up, we won't have that alpha in the shelf. So what I'm going to do is leave it to the project. So every time I go into this book Painter project, it should be there in the shelf, and I can just reuse it again. We're going to hit import. And you'll see that it kind of immediately pops me over to the alpha folder because that's where I defined it was going to go. And there it is right there, symbol. So it's even named exactly like we had it set up in that Painter folder. So what we need to do is we're going to kind of option click actually on the mask of the gray layer, not this guy, wrong one. Let's go back. Option click on this one. Okay, so we need to add this little like white floral pattern somewhere to the side. Let's make a new paint layer. So I have a completely different layer. Just in case I mess it up, I can delete it without ruining any of the other stuff. We're going to go back to the color part, so I'm not looking at the mask. Okay, let's click back again. Click right there. And now what we can do is simply click on the symbol. As soon as I do that, you'll see that it has now changed. Notice how it's painting a black symbol. It's not what we want for the mask. We want to paint white. So we're going to scroll down, make sure the brush is set to a white color. And now we can just figure out where we want that to be. Now again, this is not really the exact thing as the reference, so I don't think it's going to matter which way we have it oriented. Kind of tapers down to the bottom, so maybe, let's see, we should flip it. Actually, I'll kind of leave it this way. I like that. We're just going to scale it up. maybe about like this. And let's see what we get right there. It's pretty big. We'll scale that down a little bit. It looks pretty good. I like that. Let's just kind of come on this side and we'll do the same thing. So right about there. Really use this over and over again and paint all those little patterns and just put those down the side of the book.